Hello everybody and welcome to part 15 of Assaltya. Something that hadn't occurred to me when we started the Great Southern Road is how it's going to time up with machinery. That's a nice little happy accident. But I also think it makes for a good point for future games because with the university citizens were coming off the land, so we didn't need as much for developed tiles, so our workers were already running out of stuff to do. It gave them something to do right at a time when having it up would have extra benefits, and in this case extra gold, but nevertheless. Alright, city connection is established with Ulundi, so we'll take a peek here. 9.43 with Machu Picchu, and it's 10 tiles, so it almost pays for itself. This one is going to be 9 tiles long, and we already have that population here, so with Machu Picchu, it should all be paid for. Alright, that's a good one to get because it would have been contested. And now it is time to finish the Liberty Tree. So there we go, 14 turns until next policy. After we did this, it was like 18 or 19, so fewer turns. And that's just because we could accumulate culture all game long. There's specific thresholds, first policy, second policy, and when that 33% applies to that, obviously that's modified by cities, but so the threshold is now 33% lower while our accumulated remains the same. So that's why it looks like it's retroactive. Because for all intents and purposes it kind of is. In this case, finishing the Liberty Tree came a little bit later because we did this one first, but that just means that this will still come online around the same time it would have as if we had gone this order. Okay, Great Scientist is here. The National College is in Nineveh, and we also have Petra, which makes these tiles viable. I prefer 2 food, just because then the citizen's not actually costing growth. But we don't have that option here, because everything in this city is either river or special tiles, so that's part of the reason why we love it so much. Okay, first things first, boats. Just to recap, because we have the Great Lighthouse and extra sight, and now we're Caravel, so even more sight. We had already cut through all this visibility, so now we're left with, I'm guessing, what would be about 2 bands worth of visibility to cover. So we'll have one come down to get the bottom band, and then the other one can go more or less due east to get the remaining band. Hey, we already meet a city-state. Okay. It's got an ally, too, a deep one. Silver and porcelain happiness, okay. So far so good. We found land ho. Let's do this so that it's easier to see what we're doing. Whoa. Hey, that's my Machu Picchu. Okay, so we've met another civ. It's our turn so we can get off the screen safely. And look at this. We're connected by shallow water. And what that tells me is that, as far as the game generator is concerned, this is part of our continent. So, the question was going to be, if we found somebody, do we trade with them, do we attack him? Let's take a look here, what we're dealing with. Medieval era, so he's not the one that scooped us on Renaissance. Piety into aesthetics, so not much of a problem there. Founder of another religion, we'll get into that later. 4 cities. He's got the Mausoleum Halicarnassus, which will definitely benefit from, plus 100 gold for every great person expended. Would go very well. He's got a nice lump sum of gold, but not a very good gold per turn. He also has 5 copies of truffles, so I'm guessing this means he has very few trade partners or none at all, which supports attacking him, and of course he doesn't have much gold per turn, which also supports attacking him. Anyways, let us trade with him. Let's see, we have salt for truffles. Cotton is the next prolific, so let's say 6 and embassy. We want to see where he is, but we don't necessarily want him to see where we are. And then we could do a luxury for this, but we could also just do horses. Trying to think here all the implications of meeting this guy at this point. One thing I will say is that in the games that I've played, because we can see a little bit of land over here, might be a good place to land. This is his capital, 31 strength. To put that into perspective, the siege tower is 12. It hits with triple strength though, so that would be like 36 verses. With Sapper, these guys become 31.5, and with Sapper, these guys become 24. So, bit of a battle here. I'm also seeing hills here, river. So not the most approachable city. We do have a place to land, it looks like. I'm not so sure that settling a city just to have a base of operations is a good idea. If we were playing Liberty, absolutely. Because we're doing more domination, the happiness impact of that city. I mean, it's the same situation we ran into up here, and looking back, up here might have actually been worthwhile just because both of our port cities are on the east coast. Or, of course, down here for the actual happiness offsetter. Although this would have been a very poor city because hill, and that's it for production. Maybe lumber mill. Alright, so what I was getting at is that I've noticed in the games that I've played that once you're kind of the science runaway, the other civs will start planting cities like gangbusters just wherever they can fit them in. So with any luck, he'll actually settle a city on the coast by the time we get down here. Which brings us to, we kind of need to start mobilizing to get down there, don't we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, looks like a thin stripe here, landmass here. Alright, that's interesting. Come down here to this diagonal. He's already on his diagonal. Okay, so right now we have one death squad that's active. We'll go ahead and move them. Oh wow, you know what? These guys are in the south. We just got done building this huge road, very long road. Oh, that's so good, because otherwise we would have had to like jump in the water and traverse the ocean at 3 tiles per. Now we can do it 4 tiles per, and in a couple turns 6 tiles per. Wow, okay. I mean, that's really good. We already have some units down here, but what about the rest? What are we supposed to do? Like start lining up one by one like this is a bad kung fu movie? Okay, so starting from the south, he hops in the water. Let's get out. We're going to keep the combos on land, right? Because it's only a few turns. Better to go over there with crossbows. So yeah, let's get him out of the way so that these guys can cross over, and then he becomes the new human monument. Now keep in mind, these are land units, so even though the Great General stacks up here, when we go to jump in the water, not the case. So we're going to have to jump in like here and here, or here and here. Workers are going to finish road as much as possible. It'll be completely finished next turn. We'll get credit for the city connection the turn after that. Camp here. Oh yeah, we should be able to clear that, right? Absolutely. Okay, moving up. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can become the human monument. So let's have this guy hop on the road. Very nice. If he crosses the river here or here, this is still step 1 regardless. So let's just cross the river here. That way we get out of his way. He can seat right now. And that way, as he's the human monument, he heals up at the fastest speed possible. Ulundi, let's get a trading post going. We got some stuff to do here. We also want to get workers. And before I forget, let's mobilize this great general, who is obstructed by the scientists, but that's okay because the scientists, yeah, needed to come here to be able to plot next turn, so this is good. Alright. I was just thinking that we just got done sending 2 workers up north, but we didn't really have a need for that many workers. Meanwhile, coming over here, going to an active war, there's no such thing as too many workers. You can dangle them, you can repair tiles, you can pre-build roads or finish roads, you know, all kinds of stuff. So, of the 2 we sent north, let's take this one and have them come back down south. And the other one coming up, we got this guy here, because there's river tiles here. He's doing trading posts here. I kind of like Nineveh. We can do stuff in Assur and Nimrod, but not useful stuff. I like Nineveh just because this is our hub for all of our caravans, and I believe developed tiles contributes to that. So let's work on Nineveh as much as possible. There we go. Alright, so let's see. This guy has no promotions. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy has a promotion. So I'll tell you what, let's have these two swap places as he heads south. And then these two will swap places, and that way the better promoted one comes down. He's coming down. He's coming down. So this guy will have to be the temporary human monument. Because I say temporary because I know we got a cluster of units over here. Let's see. We want the elephant going first. Between these two, he's the better promoted, so he'll be the one that comes over. And now he's the human monument here. Okay. So, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. Oh yeah, definitely. We got to get this guy to the front. Okay. So elephant can reach this tile in 2 turns. Perfect. He can reach that tile after that to relieve him. I think we should bring 1 elephant to the war. Let's see. He doesn't look to be promoted. He doesn't look to be promoted. And this one is double promoted. Okay. So while he's healing down there, we'll do like a bump and slide thing. We'll have this guy come into the city tile. Then he'll relieve him, and the elephants can do a chain reaction down south. So I believe what we've done here is mobilized in such a way that with the exception of human monuments and 1 active death squad, everybody is going to the war. And I think that's important because theoretically, as you attack more and more people, you should have to bring a bigger and bigger army because their army is going to be a little bit better developed. Obviously, we have some tech leads, so, you know, crossbows, long swordsmen, that we might have quality over quantity. Wait, we should double check this. He might be a pushover. My concern was that we're going to be fighting on foreign lands. We're not that far from a city of our own, but we won't be able to heal up so quickly. So we dwarf his score. We definitely dwarf his science, his military. Okay. I didn't think it would be this good, but I did notice he had terracotta army, so I figured he'd have something. So this is actually somewhat formidable. So yeah, it's very good that we are sending everything that we can. We also mobilize, well, we didn't mobilize workers, but we have, what, I think like 3 workers down here. We can jump in the water too, as long as they don't get in the way of the more important land units. Because we can land them, start scouting around, all kinds of stuff, right? Okay, so this guy, he's in this city, and I don't know that we'll keep him here all that long, because after this and this, just throwing down tiles over here might even be a little bit better. Let's move this guy the rest of his movement points here, because after he's promoted, he can jump in the water here rather than here. Since the road leads to here, and this is an acute bay, this is probably going to be a heavily contested hex as far as mobilizing. Okay, so that was a very long turn, but I think we got a decent plan here. I'm so glad we got that southern road built. Almost down to the turn right when we needed to. That's incredible. Alright, I'm going to go to my little notepad over here and say east of Seoul, just because we do only have the 1 active death squad. We can see here that the armory will be finished this turn, so we can start spitting out more units. And go from there. I see Seoul and Nimrod grow next turn. So in Seoul, let's go here. Just a reminder, we're not losing the yield from this after it counts up the food. It's going to plot us as in there and then count up the hammers and the gold. And then in Nimrod, we'll just come over here. Faith focus, same thing here. We're not losing this faith, though. We'll just get it when we grow. Alright, so we've recorded the location of that camp. I want to be able to, because as we mobilize and as we're building replacements in the capital, who knows how many camps are going to spawn up. I think it'll be real easy to lose focus. Thankfully, this one's in the middle of nowhere, which means not only is it not a threat to us, but there's a good chance that the city-states won't squash it, so we get to keep the culture for ourselves. Byblos targets nearby encampment. That must be the one we're chasing in the west. Let's see if we can find it here. Come on, I'm not clicking on that. Yep. We can take a look at it now. Swordsman, okay. Production. Aqueduct is finished here. Nice. That should lead us to university, right? No. In this city we would want a lighthouse first. Because it's growth and hammers. That way when we pull off to populate the university, we still have a good base. Okay, boats first. Yes, absolutely. You're right. Okay. I'm thinking what we should probably do. 109, let's just double check this. 85, 105. So if we can hold off declaring war for another 5 turns, it would only cost us 1250 here. Otherwise we'd have to pay 1500, and that's about all of our money at a time where we're going to need some money to upgrade to crossbows. So basically the longer we can wait, the better. And it is taking us some turns to mobilize, so there's that. This empty landmass is actually pretty nice. We could land quite a few units here without even being detected. In theory, I mean, obviously all it takes is one scout or whatever. Nope, we are moving the boats first. Let's see. 1. Alright, we're missing 1 stripe, so 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's 3, 4, 5. Alright, so we got a good spread out in the water. We need to get back to land, figure out the dimensions of this landmass. Because it might end up being that this isn't the best place to attack, right? It's his capital. It's the strongest one. Went from 31 to 33. Must have garrisoned a unit. Maybe he's got, you know, another city on the other side of Tyr that is coastal and weaker. You know what I mean? We might have to mobilize on over to there. But that remains to be seen. So let's see here. Move this guy forward. Oh, let's go ahead and reap our happiness while we can. And unfortunately, we go from Venice growing in 12 to now 9. We'll keep him in the deep just because we don't set up till next turn either way. Okay, he is a priority, getting the siege towers out there. I mean, we're going to have to fight his units wherever we go, right? So I guess it's not that big of a priority, but versus a great general, it's a priority. So that's where I was coming from. We can have the worker hop in the water. Let's have this guy hop over the river, get out of the way of everybody else. We can move to like here when it says 1 turn to go, step upgrade or step upgrade, whatever it is, and just have these 2 jump in the water after their proper crossbows. He'll come towards borders. This is an unfortunate situation. If machinery was already online, he could play leapfrog over this guy, get this tile down now, because it would be 1, 2, full movement point, go ahead, and then he could have jumped over and gotten started on whatever we do next. But that's not the case here, so we'll go ahead and say you finish the road, and now we'll just take a peek here. 13.56, that's 22.99, so 23 gold for 19 tiles. This is now a profitable endeavor, and will only grow as these cities and the capital grow. Unfortunately, because we don't have machinery, the best this guy could do is come here and pre-build, but that tile's occupied, so we're just going to go ahead and move to the fullest extent. He'll be able to hop in the water next turn. Alright, these guys are coming down. It's nice that this worker coming down has a bit of a military escort there. Okay, these guys swap places, so now he'll be coming down behind. Over here we want to lead with the elephant. And unfortunately, that looks like it takes away from the comp bow. So that's unfortunate. Okay. Well, it gets it swapped out next turn, so I guess it's worth it. Just unfortunate, that's all. Alright, moving along. Yep, you stay there for now. You become human monument for a bit. Same with you. Same with you for now. Caravan. Is this our twins? One's Petra, one's not. Which one are you? It chewed up the names? I'm pretty sure we did. Aww. Why would that be, I wonder? We named one Petra and one not Petra. Weird. Anyways, it's time to plant the academy. So, we had 2 tiles here. I was looking at this one just because it's more inside our empire. This one's closer to like the outer edge. So, in theory, this one's safer. We have the honor opener, so it probably won't matter either way. But, you know, best practices. Okay, so there's that. Nice. What else? The great general was stunted by him. Hey, look at that. He's got his own little escort. Sweet. Alright, keeping our eyes down here, seeing what we can see. We saw he had an Inquisitor out. I'm not sure what that's about. Singapore desires incense. I thought Singapore was the one with incense. No, they're the ones with silk. Incense is next door. Okay. So city connection fully realized, and now you can see our gold per turn is very nice. Okay, we grew here. We knew we were going to. Palanque loves the king. Alright. That city has not been growing, which, quite frankly, I'm okay with, because it is a bit of a garbage city. It would be nice if it was picking up more gold. Oh, apparently it's gone up to 6 pop, and it is working more gold. Cool. Yeah, I think, if I remember correctly, when it grew to 5 pop, it decided to work a pure production town. It's like, why? Moving along. No longer friends with Byblos. That just means they're going to be easier to tribute, except for we don't really have units in the area anymore. They all went down south. We knew about Singapore. Kathmandu targets nearby encampment. Probably this one out in the east, so very nice there. Got some workers wrapping some things up. Hey, in fact, this one, we were just talking about that. And indeed, he does decide to go for it. Nice. That means he is, and he's working a market. Sweet. Look at our gold go up just because we're putting down them trading posts. So, wish I had done that sooner. Alright, 6 and 7 here. 4 and 8. It gets populated in the same amount of time. This way leaves us with more residual food. My only trepidation here is that if we're going to war capturing more cities, happiness might be a problem. I know Circus Maximus is coming up, but when it does, I think that's going to be a good time to annex Venice. Just because, you know, we're at that point where we're hitting the open waters. I'm trying to think of how much that applies right now, though. This was my thought off of camera, and with it building walls now, that might actually be good to do now. However, now that we actually found somebody and we're choosing to attack them, we might want our caravels to stick nearby, number 1 to intercept, like religious or anybody that tries to flee. And also, if we do end up attacking a coastal city, they'll be helpful. So, maybe we hold off on annexing this for that reason. University is done here, so we say pull. We go from growth to 9 to growth to 18. That's terrible. So let's get a watermill up. Could do an observatory. It's 50%, which right now would be 10 and a half, which is almost 5%. Wow. Garden, watermill, and observatory all contribute to science. And yeah, this is the biggest, most immediate one, but maybe working the follow-throughs is better. This gets us another hammer right away, which is why I'm thinking about that, and then maybe garden and observatory. Not sure. I feel pretty good about the watermill part. Okay, so we need to be replacing death squads. I don't want to do a 5 zone like we were doing before. We're sending a whole lot of military to the new front, and once the dust settles on that new front, that means we're going to be left with a lot of military, a lot of which can come back home. Obviously, we'd want a death squad on that landmass. So we don't need to go nuts so much. And then it comes down to the question of melee, leading with melee or ranged. And obviously conventional wisdom would be lead with melee. On the other hand, we have melee who are acting as human monuments. So technically, although we would need somebody to relieve them. And then on the other hand, Hanoi is gifting us units, fast units, who can either act as melee or act as a replacement for melee. So yeah, let's lead with ranged here in this situation. And I know it says 2 to go, and we got 1 here, but whatever hammers we put towards this project will translate to the crossbow this project becomes. The only time that's not true is if you're putting hammers towards a warrior and you finish metal casting, at which point the warrior is no longer available. It's not considered upgrade because the swordsman was a separate project. So make sure you look out for that in your games. Okay, definitely move the boats first, and I definitely think this is the more important one. Ooh, hills blocking visibility. Not good, not good. Ooh, hills blocking visibility. We have so much visibility and so little we can do with it. That sucks. This little border formation suggests maybe second city's here, because we haven't found any more cities yet. Let's see. 1, 2, another city-state. 3, 4, 5, we end up in deep water. That seems pretty good. Also allied, also deep. They have incense, which we were just asked about, and these are culture versus happiness, which I would actually rather have the culture. We want enough happiness to sustain whatever we're getting into, but you got to remember that we still have Seoul who can build a courthouse, right? And if we annex Venice, that could build a courthouse as well. So I'm not so sure that happiness is going to be a problem, except for the fact that we want to capture his capital, and one might have another city burning at the same time. So yeah, unfortunately that's also a deep ally of his. I guess we have a clearer picture now of why he went aesthetics. And I don't know how big this landmass is, but I'm a little displeased to find that the northern border is littered with city-states rather than Inca cities. On the other hand, when we do gift to become an ally, that'll give us more land we can land in, because we are having a lot of units that are coming down by water, or will be. Alright, so let's start in the south. If he moves here, we can actually land him here or here. He can start being the scout while we wait for a civilian to be our scout. Like, say, this worker here. We'll bring another Wales online. Growth in 8, down to growth in 7. It's unfortunate, but what are you going to do? I'll have him hop in the water there. He comes down here. We can determine how they want to step and upgrade next turn. So you just chill. This guy cannot jump in the water anywhere, so we might as well have him do a pre-build on a project. I think this is our most developed. Oh, whoa, 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 no! Alright, well this is not a problem because we can just have step upgrade, and they're right where we, or step upgrade, I guess. Alright, I thought I had clicked on the next guy. It was a misclick, but not one. That's a problem. So he'll be able to hop in the water next turn. Let's see. He's coming along the road. We have machinery next turn, so we got to remember that that's going to be a thing. I believe this was a repair type situation, so we can come here. Pre-build on that. I'm just thinking he's going to hop in the water here, which means he may be hopping the water here, hopping the water here. I don't know how it's going to go. We just don't want them being a traffic jam. Let's see, these guys are coming down. And the reason I'm moving these guys first is because I don't want... We're basically going to move this guy into borders. So, oh, in fact, I should have waited till we healed this. Dang. Alright, so he's going to move 6 hexes next turn. 3, 6, so he gets out of the way. This guy will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, upgrade there, which means he should be able to step here, heal up, and then be part of the train after the fact. Okay, so we got all that. This guy's finally relinquished, right? Because the elephant lands this turn. Show you right. And then he'll replace the elephant next turn, so we can get an elephant chain to relinquish the guy who's camping in Venice. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, upgrade on that hex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He gets relinquished, so he can cover this in 2 turns. So when we make room for this guy to land and to call to be furthest extent, this guy can actually start his part of the chain, because that guy gets relinquished by the guy who's currently in a Sir. Wow. Okay, so much going on. I think in this situation we slap with the melee and then finish it off with melee. That allows the range to come over here a little bit quicker, because damaged melee can just basically sub in for human monuments, so that's not even a problem. Okay, moving along. Let me highlight this guy so I don't forget to move him first. And there we go. One more turn. No, sir. If you get some gold, we can sell you some other... Hey, he does have some gold. I'll sell you stuff, but you are not getting an embassy.
The press is the
Machinery is here. Okay, so let's see. Trade horse for 2. And another horse for 2. We're just going to get as much gold from him as we can in the meantime. Venice demands pearls. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon. That only adds, it's 4th ring. We can't work it, but it does add to our total since it's already developed. That's why we didn't pillage it before. Budapest cancels quest. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what quest we had. My thoughts before this episode was after machinery head into gunpowder, maybe navigation, which is another reason why I think annexing Venice soon is a good idea. So yeah, let's do this. I don't like closing the window on siege towers because we might find ourselves in a situation where we want to attack in 2 directions simultaneously. On the other hand, by the time we get to cannons, the siege towers would rather be cannons, and that's not too far off. So, I mean, the alternative is we zip one out right now just in case, but even then, we'd split it into 2 and 2, which wouldn't be very effective. Okay, so we've answered all our prompts. The call's the next one to grow, so let's get on to our boat friend here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have visibility 1, 2, 3, 4, which unfortunately is exactly the distance of this arc. So this entire arc will give us no new visibility except for over here. Although there is a passage through the ice, so maybe this isn't a dead end. Which would be nice because that means these guys could establish the perimeter of this landmass that much quicker. Okay, have we met the eastern edge already? Let's find out. It's looking that way. Yeah, we don't end up in ocean, but so what? We need to get the dimensions of this. It's looking kind of small, actually. So we can have this guy. Can you land there? You cannot. Let's just verify that since we have 3 hexes of movement. That's why. That's okay. We land here. We get some visibility. Profit. Full powered profit at that. Okay. So we'll bring these guys down here. We don't actually know where we want to land. The Great General from here could land here, which could pair up just in case. Coming down. We'll stick to deep water where possible. He's healing up. He hops in the water. This sucks. Okay. Step upgrade. That way he can jump in here or here. It's looking like here, but just in case our boats find there is a better thing to attack on the eastern edge now, not the northern. He would jump in here, which means I want to step this guy like this, and that way he can jump in here if we're going south, here if we're going east. Okay, so you're healing. Next worker coming down is right here. In fact, with machinery, he can go all the way to here and do a pre-build on that. And that means next turn he could resume there. So I guess we can hop in the water. I was just thinking maybe put in the turns there, but whatever. Okay, so you step here and upgrade. You step just beyond, and that way we chose the perfect healing spot. Nice. Alright, pikemen will come in handy if we do encounter some mounted. Although keep in mind that they, versus mounted, attack the same as a musketman. And once we capture our first city over there, all of these guys will become musketmen. Or, you know, pretty close thereafter. So there's that. There's that. See, I see a worker who needs a project. 2 turns. Hop up here. Don't know which one we get. Maybe we chop down. In the meantime, he comes down to here. We already counted it out. He can go ahead and start heading down part of the chain because this elephant will replace him next turn so he can keep moving. He becomes human monument. We move this guy to its furthest extent, which is going to be here. and then upgrade. We'll just have that guy wait for now. He finishes the camp. No new barbs spawn, which is unfortunate. Campment cleared for Biblos. So there's that. More food everywhere. Which is a good news, bad news situation. We can check this guy. It says currently 56 to 75. And we'll be able to see next turn that that's applied to the crossbow, which that project will automatically convert to a crossbow, because when we end our turn, it's going to see that comp bow is no longer a valid option. So we are past the half-hour mark here. Lots going on. I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts. So please leave your comments below, as well as a like and subscribe if you feel that I've earned them. And I will see you guys in the next part. Take care.